Most mornings when I wake up, I normally tell myself today is the day I finally become the hero of leg day or hit the weights for some proper strength training. But somehow I end up going for a run, 5, 10Ks again, even when I know I should be focusing on doing some lateral raises, maybe some dumbbell presses. And honestly, mine closure feels a lot like that to me. There's so much to cover across the mining value chain, and yet here we are talking about mine closure. No matter how hard I try to focus on other more trending topics, innovation or digital optimization, somehow I keep getting pulled back to this one issue. Maybe it's fate or maybe it's just my conscience. Because I truly believe that all the good that we do in mining, the jobs we create, the infrastructure we build, will all get undone the moment we fail to properly plan for what comes next, for what happens after that last blast. So after 2 decades in this industry, some of them spent managing these defunct operations. I can tell you that if we don't crack the post-mining transition issue, we will never truly meet our sustainability goals and change ultimately the narrative around the role of mining in the world. After all, what really is the point of ticking every ESG box while the mine is running, only to abandon communities and landscapes when it stops? We often talk about the world's big, complicated challenges: climate change, cancer research, rapid urbanization, digital transformation. We hear about how powerful tools like AI are being lined up to solve some of these issues. But today, what happens to our mining towns when the mining ends? Because when the last ton of coal, chrome, or iron ore gets hauled out, what really happens to the communities built entirely around that industry? Too often, in all honesty, they collapse. So maybe let's try and flip the script. So I've been thinking a lot about what I would personally do if I were in charge of South Africa's mine closure strategy and the execution elements. And I had the benefit of hindsight and all the knowledge that we've gained from past failures and successes, of course. What is it that I would do differently? How would I make sure that when the mine shuts down, the community doesn't shut down with it? First things first, I'd stop calling this mine closure. I would reframe it as post-mining transition. Because this is not just about sealing shafts and ticking off environmental boxes. This is about what happens to people. It's about livelihoods. It's about schools, clinics, homes. It's about people's futures. And here are a few things that I would do differently. First, I would plan for reality, not just hope. And what I mean by this is we've got to stop basing plans on wishful thinking. My strategy will be grounded in reality, even if that means planning for smaller populations, right-sizing the infrastructure that's there, and accepting that some towns may and will have to shrink before they grow again. That's not failure. That's honest, grounded planning. Second, I would prioritize local and incremental wins. My approach would empower local people and municipalities to build on what's already there. Whether it's poultry farming, tourism, brick making, or solar assembly, we would support what makes sense on the ground. Next, I would ensure that the planning is integrated across all levels. Right now, environmental, economic, and social planning tend to happen in silos. National doesn't talk to local. Local is often under-resourced. I would set up one coordinated structure with one clear lead agency for social transition and another for environmental rehabilitation. And most importantly, I would equip and fund local government to lead this charge. The next thing I would do is to center all of this around the community, like to really truly center this conversation around the community. No more late-stage stakeholder engagement meetings that feel like box ticking. Communities must be part of the design process from day one. The next thing I would do would be to build resilience before the mine closes. Waiting until retrenchments start, it's already too late. So I would begin building economic resilience and social safety nets long before closure, starting from the day the mine opens. The next thing, and one of the most important things, is to see the rehabilitated land as an asset and not a liability. Rehabilitated land should be seen as an economic platform, not just a sunk cost. Would link it to new land uses, agriculture, renewables, tourism, and make sure that the closure funds also support social transition, not just environmental compliance. The next, and maybe the last thing I would do would be to build a live public post-mining transition dashboard showing everything from rehabilitation progress to small business development and education access. Everyone, and I mean everyone from mayors to mothers, would know what's going on. I'm not saying that this is easy. I know how hard it is. Again, I've spent the majority of my working life trying to solve this issue, so I understand that it's complex, but I do think that we can, with a proper plan, make progress. Mine closure or transition is messy, it's political, it's an emotional topic, and it tends to be expensive. But it's also one of the biggest opportunities we have to get this right for our people, for our land, and for our collective future. This kind of transformation takes vision, it takes funding, trust, and a long-term plan that survives politics. But I believe it can be done, and I believe it must be done. We have an obligation to ensure that we plan and execute these things for the betterment of society. Because what comes after mining should never be collapse, it should be legacy. If this message speaks to you, share it, talk about it, whether in government, mining, civil society, or just a citizen who cares. Let's make post-mining transition the new normal. This is Mining 901, where we simplify the future of mining, energy, and sustainability. As always, I'm Abu Rengwi, and let's build these towns together. Cheers.